Hello, my name is Jerry Van Sanguzu, and I'm passionate about growing small African businesses. I'm joined by my colleague, Alan Abila, today. We are Everpesa Technologies, and what is the problem that we are trying to solve? Small businesses cannot access affordable credit to be able to grow. And this situation is even worse, especially for the underserved and unserved communities, especially when you look at youth and women in business. I want to introduce you to one of these small businesses. We have full consent to use these images because she's one of our good clients. Meet Viola. Viola is a hardware dealer in Chibuye. Viola has a lot of struggles like any businesswoman. However, on top of her struggles is one, inability to actually access affordable credit due to a number of reasons. One of which is no collateral for her to get her loans. Secondly, she has an informal operation, and this is seen as a high risk by most financial institutions. And then the traditional institutions which are supposed to fund these small businesses like banks have gradually moved away from funding businesses to really investing in things such as treasury bonds. DFC is the latest bank which now has more treasury bond holdings than their loan portfolio. So this huge credit gap which is left in the market, who is going to fill this? Because if this credit gap is not filled, businesses, especially youth and women-led businesses, will remain stagnant, youth unemployment will remain, and communities will remain trapped in poverty. Why? Because more than 80% of Ugandans are actually employed by the informal sector, and this type of business is what you see everywhere. So to us, how do we approach this problem? This is a very complicated multi-level problem. And we wanted to look at, there's one group of people who need money, and there's possibly another group of people who can actually provide money. So if it's not going to be the banks, then who is it going to be? Into Everpesa Invest. Everpesa Invest is a peer-to-peer investment and lending marketplace where we connect the everyday investors directly to the small businesses that the MFIs are currently ignoring. So what is the benefit of this and how does this work? For borrowers, we are able to provide fast, fair, and affordable loans to entrepreneurs so that they are able to access credit that can help them to grow their businesses. And while for the investors, we offer them simple ways to invest in real businesses where they can actually make real impact. Think of you investing in a real business, the shop next to you where you're able to buy your groceries. That is the kind of business that we are looking at investing in. So who are these kinds of people who actually we are trying to serve? It's majority young entrepreneurs, the youth who are really between 18 to 35 who are having the most difficulty in accessing this kind of credit. Additionally, women-led businesses and really the entire informal and micro small business owners are the ones who are really having difficulty in accessing this credit. So for the borrowers, that is who they are. But then you'd wonder, where are the investments actually coming from? I'll tell you for sure, because of our interactions in the field with a lot of these businesses, some are larger, some are smaller, but we can assure you there's a lot of money which is completely off the books, off any bank records, and this is the kind of money we want to start bringing into the financial system because governments are losing a lot of revenue from all these unrecorded transactions. But by having people now start to interact with our platform, this is the kinds of funds we can see that can actually grow revenues. So like we've already said, we know there's a more than 1 billion unmet credit need across the entire informal sector because 80% of the labor force is employed in this sector. Like it or not, that is where most people are going to end up working. These people are contributing more than up to 51% of GDP, and we have millions of jobs which are actually at risk. Smartphone penetration has also been going upwards. Currently in Uganda, we have smartphone penetration up to 18.2 million, which gives a very good avenue, especially for digital products to start coming out and digital products to start being used in this sector. So how does our product look like? It is a two-platform way. To us, Everpesa Invest, how do we actually make these credit loans? One, we are focused so much on alternative credit scoring. We are focused on how can we assess a business without the traditional ways businesses are assessed. And what are we looking at? The various mobile money statements these businesses are producing, the social behavior of these businesses, such as their profiles on various social media, and really the community recommendations. Because for us, community is very key. We spend our time in the community because that is where the problem is. To us, the technology is only an enabler. We're able to track these various loans that we give out and really have a user-friendly platform. And more importantly, it's not enough to just give credit and leave, such as some of the applications, such as the mobile money applications, the loans online. You would need to be able to educate these businesses to understand the formalities so that they are able to actually grow. And that is what we do as Everpesa. So how do we make money? What are our revenue streams? Primarily, the loan servicing fees are really our revenues, and that's where a majority of our money comes from. Think of it this way. If you invest 1 million with us, and if you invest 1 million with us at an interest of 10%, we're able to invest that in a business at an interest of 15%, and the spread, which is the 5% in between, that is our card for facilitating and being able to run this kind of transactions. And then additionally, in our purpose of looking for solving this problem, we're also able to develop our very own core banking system, which is Safaribanking, which can digitize the entire process. We use this internally, but we've seen this is also something needed by the various circles and the various MFIs we serve. And also, even the devices needed by these people. We also have an online platform whereby we can provide these devices on a pay-go basis so that people are able to acquire these devices, because we believe we need to bring people into the digital age and not simply leave them in the analog age. So what have we been able to do? Using our own capital, we've been able to deploy up to $7,000, and we've seen over 50% of that being returned. And our repayment rates are rather funded to women entrepreneurs. And our repayment rates are up to 98%. And we have a very high reborrow rate, which means that the people we've worked with in the field actually appreciate our product, and they are the ones who actually come back and borrow. And we've also amassed a very large data set that we are using right now to train our models so that we can have better ways of predicting credit. So who are we? Myself, the founder and CEO. We have our CTO, and we have our COO, Alan Abila, and our head of legal, who is Irene. All of us have expansive knowledge, especially in the technology field. I come from the data science and software engineering background, and we are all expertise in our industries and fields that we operate in. So what is our ask? We are looking for $100,000. Majority of 50% of this money, we want to expand our loan portfolio, because this is the money which can actually grow and help these small businesses. And that is where we really want to put a lot of this so that we can help grow these businesses, because as we are going to show you, the effects of investing in us are real and they are very immediate effects. And some of the partners we are looking at to work at this is especially Capital Markets Authority, because we are not looking at being a money lender. We are looking at being an investment platform whereby we can securitize the loans as investments for people to use, so that we can also offer other financial institutions such as the circles to become loan originators on our platform. That we are not money lenders, but we are simply providing investments and securitizing these various loans, especially to these informal communities. So to us, it's a broad perspective on how we see sustainability, because for us, our financial success is dependent on the business growth of our users. Because when our users grow business, we are going to see jobs being created, kids taken to school, and poverty reductions coming. And it's really a whole spectrum that we are looking at. We're looking at the investors who are going to be giving us the loans, the various circles and microfinance institutions which are going to bank on, the members who will provide the loans to, the development partners, the businesses, and really the technology that we are providing. So before we go any further, what happened to Viola? We've invested up to $1,000 in Viola's hardware shop, which she has actually been able to grow from the first time that she started up to where she is right now. And this has led to up to 200% business revenue growth. And once Viola took our loans and repaid those back, her credit eventually grew over time. And she has seen a 20% increase in her personal income, and she's been able to actually afford to pay her child's school fees. And not only that, what's the most important factor, Viola now employs a full-time employee who helps and assists her at the shop. And that is a direct job which has actually been created through our system. And not only that, here on the right, you'd see Viola now participating in entrepreneurial activities, learning what businesses are, learning how to build businesses. So we are helping to bring these largely informal businesses who will never come to formalize, to start bringing them towards the formalization and bringing them towards the formal sector. And this is what we think can actually grow government revenue and really grow industry in Uganda. So that is Doreen. Doreen is the Viola's employee now. So they are now working, two of them in a shop. So you can see that from our loans, that now two people are being supported, in addition to a child who is now able to go to school, because the parent can now be able to afford the school fees, because they can easily see, they can easily bring in returns, and they can get loans at better rates. So to us, we want you to join us to really empower entrepreneurs like Viola. We want to empower them to grow, because it is only by supporting these small and micro enterprises, which support majority of the economy, that we can actually